The AmaZulu royal family, aligned with King MisuZulu KaZwelithini, says preparations are well underway for this weekend's crowning ceremony. Our reporter, Linda Mnisi, live for us from the palace in Nongoma. Linda, of course, it's a turbulent time for the royal family. Just this past weekend, we had Prince Makate saying that, well, he's the rightful heir to the throne. Today, another name resurfacing, this time from brothers of the late King KaZwelithini. What's likely then to happen there this weekend?
Well, Kathy, at this moment, we're seeing, of course, two other brothers being supported to the throne. Last week, you would have seen Prince Makate also undergoing what he called the crawl entering ceremony. Today, we're seeing the brothers of the late King KaZwelithini announcing their preferred candidate for the throne. I'm joined now by the Prime Minister of the AmaZulu nation to get a sense of perhaps, what this means, given the fact that we are only a few hours, if one may say, away from the crawl entering ceremony itself. We're hearing the brothers of the late king saying that this particular ceremony, questioning the ceremony and saying that they, in fact, should be the ones that are conducting it. What do you make of that?
No, but I think that if it was not said, it would be the biggest joke of the year. Because as all of us know, the king is on his throne now already. I mean, in March already the king was identified by the head of state, and the fact was gazetted that he is the king. So the question of looking for an heir is actually neither here nor there, because the successor to the late King Zwelithini is already on the throne. I mean, it's very sad, even the fact that they are naming one of the junior sons of the king from the same mother, because the Prince Buzabani is a junior son of Queen Gamate, but he has got elder brothers from the same mother, and it's unprecedented that he can overfly his elder brother and become the heir, and they lose precedence as elder brothers. So I mean, the whole thing, if it wasn't said, but it was just a joke, really. Because you saw even recently Prince Moise himself portrays himself in a most amazing way, because we all know he has been in court. He is as we speak now, he's in court in Bloemfontein in the Supreme Court, there where he's asking for leave, to block the coronation of the king, or rather the handing over of the certificate by the head of state. Because the question of whether the king is no longer an issue, because he's already on the throne. I mean, the handing over of the certificate by Mr. Ramaphosa, the president of this country, is just a formality.
And there's this question around the core members of the family. They are saying that you are a relative of the family, and that they're saying that you are a mere relative of the family, and they should be conducting this particular ceremony. What do you make of that? I
sympathize with you because you are young, I mean, any older journalist wouldn't say that, because all the journalists would know that I was appointed by his grandfather, by King Cyprian. I worked with him, for the duration of his life, and I worked with the late king for 50 years. And in all the major events of the royal family, I performed my duty as appointed by King Cyprian KaZwelithini, my first cousin. I mean, it's nonsensical to say that I'm a relative, if you know the history. But we are young, you see. I sympathize with you when you say that they say that, because with that history, it's ridiculous to say that I'm just a relative when my position is recognized by the Zulu people. You'll see what will happen Saturday. I mean, the few days ago, Prince Makate tried to put himself on the throne, and there were hardly 50 people there,
And this whole thing about, Prince Magade also entering the crown, they seem to agree with you that he shouldn't have entered the crown.
That he should not have.
That he should not have entered the crown.
In fact, it was surreptitious because he did that during the night. I mean, in Zulu culture, only witches and wizards operate during the night. I mean, the ceremony on Saturday will be open to be during the day when the whole nation is there. The whole nation of South Africa will watch it. I mean, no South African so observed Prince Magade go enter the crown, because in fact, he did that during the night precisely because it was ridiculous that those few people, hardly 50 people, could have been, taken as actually representative of the Zulu nation at an occasion of that importance.
Now that we have another name added to the candidates to the throne, does this have any impact on, the kingship? You've already said that the king is on the throne. Would this have any impact?
In fact, already the little drama of Prince Magade has actually portrayed that in fact it's a non-starter. That thing won't fly. And I think even the name of Prince Buzabani will not fly. I mean, she won't fly. I mean, because everyone knows that the head of state has already, in terms of the traditional leadership act and Khoisan Act, has already actually been implemented. I mean, what has happened is, according to law, it has been announced through the government gazette, I mean, which publishes all laws of this country. I mean, I don't think that we can even talk about any impact, because even what they've done up to now is, it's a comedy of errors, actually.
All right. And lastly, talk to us about what then, we can expect this coming weekend. You've already outlined in that statement, what is going to unfold in terms of the state of readiness. I see the elders of the family already present here.
Yes, I was saying that in fact that will be decisive, and I think the little drama by Prince Magade in itself has already, shown us, exactly what a flop the whole thing that they are doing is. The whole thing is an absolute flop. I mean, on what do you call His Majesty the King now has gone on a hunt, and we're waiting. Because you can see all of us are elderly here. We're the elderly members of the royal family, and that's why you see I'm carrying this, and the prince here is what you call, and the most senior, ladies in the royal family. The matriarch of the family is here. The two of the princes that were here are actually the sons of the matriarch. Can you believe that? The other two are her sons. Really, her own sons.
Did you discuss this with her, and what is her reaction to that briefing?
Pardon?
You say the two princes are her sons.
Her sons of the matriarch. Yes.
What does she make of what she?
In fact, our attitude is the same. We say, what are these children trying to do? What are they trying to do? Ignorance is bliss. Where ignorance is bliss to be wise. They really don't know what they're doing, because they are making a laughing stock of the royal family and of themselves.
Do you think this will cause further confusion in the Zulu in fact, the Zulu nation? This thing of announcing new candidates to the throne, do you think it's adding to the confusion?
Well, I don't think the Zulu people are mad, insane. Because only people who need their hairs red can indulge in the actions in which they're indulging. Actually, as I said, it was a comedy of errors as far as I'm concerned. I don't think that you'll see on Saturday that the Zulu people are not confused. There's no confusion, actually. But the action is very provocative, because I had to write to the Minister of Police on what you call, last Saturday, to say that this is no longer a challenge to either to King Zwelithini or the royal family, but they were now challenging the state, because the state already recognized the king to be on the throne. It's no longer a question of challenging the king, because the king is already on the throne, you know.
I want to thank you so much for your time, David. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. That is the Prime Minister of the AmaZulu nation, Kathy, talking to us about, of course, those developments, seemingly quite confident that, the ceremony this weekend will go ahead successfully. One thing that he says is that it will be clear on Saturday when this ceremony is held that the Zulu nation is not confused about who the king is. So we'll wait and see then, that ceremony which will take place this coming Saturday. He says this one, unlike the one that we saw last week, will take place in broad daylight for all to see.